Hi, my name is Gerry, and I am a twin troller boat owner. If you have watched my other videos, you have seen where I made a video that shows how I launch my twin troller and recover it back to the trailer. The way that I do it, I enter and exit the twin troller from the shore, where I primarily step in the water and then step into the boat. I am not using a dock to tie the boat up to and then get in and out of the twin troller there. When I step into the boat, when it is at the edge of the water, the boat sinks a little and the nose of the boat is now grounded under the water. I am concerned about that because it puts a little bit of damage on the nose of the boat, as well as when I pull the boat in at the end of a fishing day, I beach the boat. The natural question is, what can be done about possibly damaging the keel of the boat? There's a product called Keel Shield or Keel Saver. There are other brands that you can put on a aluminum boat or a fiberglass boat like a bass boat, and you can literally drive them right onto a concrete boat launch with no damage to the hull. Well, I looked into doing that, buying that product and putting it underneath the twin troller to protect it. I found from those companies, they say that you cannot put it on a plastic type boat as opposed to fiberglass or aluminum. So what do we do to protect our twin troller if that's what we want to do? One solution is to not beach the boat. But not every location I put in at has just soft sand where the boat launch is, or grass, or some other item that I can do that with without scratching the bottom of the hull. And on the twin troller, there isn't a keel like there is on a V-hull, like an aluminum boat or a bass boat. The twin troller has a different design, but there is an area in the front that sometimes rubs on the ground. So I wrote to several of those companies that make keel guards in some fashion. None answered me back except for one. They also suggested that they have a product that is designed for repairing hulls that I could use. Particularly, they use it on Kevlar kayaks, canoes, plastic boats of some fashion like that. And it's designed to adhere to the bottom of the boat and cure with UV light. I bought that. It came in the mail yesterday, or UPS. This is what it looks like. It is called Gator Patch. It's skinny. This particular one was a 12-inch by 9-inch sheet. And the company says even if you wore a hole in that, you can patch over the Gator Patch with more Gator Patch up to 5 times. You can buy the Gator Patch in different sizes. This is the largest one that I could find, 12 inches by 9 inches. So I am going to find a spot that I want to try to cover on the hull, cut this, and then adhere it. I'm going to do it in 2 places with two separate pieces of this cut. Because of the design of the twin troller, there's basically a small keel-like area in front of each of the trolling motors, and that's where I plan on doing that. I'll also show you where I have some scratching and damage on the bottom of my hull and how I will calculate where to put this one and what sizes to cut it to. As I already said, to make the Gator Patch cure and stick to the bottom of the boat, we need UV light. Well, Mother Nature provides us with a whole bunch of that. That's why we have to wear sunscreen. So I asked, how do you get that onto the bottom of the boat? They told me that you can put it on the bottom of the boat and natural sunlight will cure it. It depends primarily on how much sun it gets. So my intentions at this point, unless I change my mind, will be to park it in the driveway, try to let it sit in the sun, and we'll see if that works. They also say sometimes you have to get a UV flashlight. Okay, this is the front of my twin troller. And down here on the bottom is where the scratching occurs. And we have one on the other side because there's almost pontoon-like sections of the twin troller underneath. Let me show you a little closer. This is the bottom of the twin troller. This is the front of what would probably be called the keel, and you can see the scuffing. It does go down a little bit, but not too much. So we need to cover this kind of an area going down like this. This is a clear ruler, so I hope you can see. The damage is primarily here to here, but down as far as here, and not much more than this edge. So maybe a triangular shaped kind of patch would be great here. So 6 inches would be there on my ruler. 6 inches would be fine for the width as far down as here. Up here naturally less, because 6 inches would be way up here. I don't think we need that kind of coverage, so I'll cut it. Now, what about the length? Well, the last little bit of damage really for the most part, and it starts going up into the well here, so I don't want to go past that. But the edge of it would be there, and 8 inches would be way up here where my thumb is, here, all the way to here. That would fully cover where the damage is and get it all the way down to here. So 6 inches by 8 inches. It's probably about right to me. So let's look at the Gator Patch. It's 12 inches this way. So if I do 6 inches across here, 6 inches across here for the other side, it's 9 inches this way. So if I come 8 inches to here, I think we'll be covered. So with this one sheet, we can do both sides. I need to cut it to that size. I want to prepare this. This is kind of bumpy here. So I'm going to get some sandpaper and I'll sand this to get all these edges off. And then I'm going to prepare the plastic with a solvent and clean it. And then we'll apply the 2 patches. Prior to applying them, I will cut them to my final shape to make sure they are what I want. The first thing I'm going to try, this is a 3M Sand Blaster sanding sponge.
I just want to knock down the rough spots first, but not do any damage to the rest of it the best I can. And then we'll progress and get lighter in sandpaper. I also want to scuff the area we're going to put this on a little so it adheres better. I am using 180 grit Durite sandpaper here. Durite can be used either wet or dry. I am just using it dry here, and I'm using a small piece of 2x4 to wrap it around as a sanding block. I am using 220 grit sandpaper here around a sanding block, and I want to make sure I scuff all the areas that the Gator Patch will adhere to. I am using 70% isopropyl rubbing alcohol as a solvent to clean the area. You can see that the rag is a little bit dirty the first time, but after we wipe it a few more times with a clean spot on the rag, it completely goes away. And then you just wait till it dries before you can apply the Gator Patch. I did some more measurements. Let me just show you what I've got in mind. 6 inches across, right here in the edge where it starts to drop, it would be to here. 3 inches across the nose would come down that far on that side and down to here. That means that this would be triangular shaped out to like this across there, and triangular shaped across here. So this would cover this wide and get wider as it comes down here to sit across here. Okay, now we're on the starboard side. I did the exact same thing. Sanded it with the sanding block, then I used heavier sandpaper, and then down to 220. Scuffed it all the way around. Now I'm going to clean it with the solvent. I have moved over to a workbench so that you can hopefully see this without this being exposed too much to the bright sun with the UV rays. I also have this on a cutting board. If you've ever done auto body work, the smell here is exactly like fiberglass resin. It's kind of stuck to the package, so let me get it loose. Okay, this is what it looks like. That's the side that you're going to see on the Twin Troller. That's the color. It's on the bottom, doesn't make any difference. It's got a sheet over the top, some kind of backing sheet over this side. So let me draw on here with the ruler. Remember, we're doing 6 inches one way, 8 inches the other way. Do it in the middle. And then way over here on this edge, we'll do it again. I have a ruler, so I can mark this straight across. So there's 6 inches on one side, 6 inches on the other, and then we're going to come down 8 inches. Now, I could cut this across this way, then I'll split this extra piece. I'd rather not do that. I want to keep as much of this as I can surplus intact, so that if down the road I needed a piece longer than having 2 6-inch ones, I'll have an 8-inch one. I just don't know. So I'm going to try the razor first. Wow, that cut really easy. I did push really hard, but it did cut easy. So there's my surplus. I'm going to put this back in the bag. I don't want the sunlight to get to it. Three inches is right here. And 1.5 inches down would be here. 1.5 inches down would be here. So now I have 3 inches. Sorry, I'm talking with the cap in my mouth. 3 inches, and they're in the middle. Got a brand new blade in there. There we go. Okay, all the pieces, again, who knows down the road what I need. I'm going to save these, put them in here. I'll seal this bag so the sunlight can't get in. Someday if I needed them, hopefully they'll still be good. This is what we need to take over there and to put on. This is the instructions for the Gator Patch. And I'm hoping you can somehow read them. I'll try to take a closer up picture so that you can see it. This is what it will look like when we get done. I'm gonna have to smooth this out and get it to fit right. This is what it will look like. Okay, it says in the instructions to take the white side off, which I did. Okay. That looks pretty good. To me, it looks like I need to split this, at least in part. To take a little wedge out. Actually, I think that worked pretty good. I want you to take something into account. We're in Central Florida. It's a bright, sunny day, but the sun is on the other side of this open door to the garage. So I'm kind of in the shade here. So if I'm getting some UV light in here, so far it seems like it's not enough to start working on this. So I have time to work on it. Get everything out that I think I can get out. Get it as smooth and push down on all the edges. The other one of this is still in the package on the floor here to keep the sunlight off of it. At this point, I don't mind if this gets hard. It starts to set up because I think it's as good as I can get it. I still need to take that plastic covering off. But let me do the other side first. Okay, here we are on the other side. And this is going to go pretty much just like the other one. Okay, let's try to get this outer film off. Through the middle here. Okay. Let's go back to the original side. Here's my twin troller, parked in the driveway. It's only been a couple of minutes, probably less than 10. I can't even put my fingernail into the material anymore. It's sunny, but the sun is not directly on that patch. So I guess that UV really does work. So the old pieces that you wanted to save, make sure that they're not out in the sun. On eBay is the cheapest I found for the Gator Guard. Do a search with that same title. It is now the next day. As a follow-up, that Gator Patch that we installed is rock hard. So obviously the sun did get enough UV rays to the patch to harden it. It worked well. If you like my video, feel free to subscribe. Just push that button in the corner, or give me a thumbs up, or share it with your friends, or right below, just write comments or questions. Thanks for watching.